Okay, so I have been toying with trying to etch on laser, and for one of the stands, you put the plastic piece here on the stands, and I have spoke to multiple people and been researching. I've spent weeks messing with this and burning and trying all kind of samples and designs and different heat and stuff. I'm going to show you the method that's worked best for me, and I'm actually going to do it for you, and we are going to see how well it actually works. A couple of things I've done, if you could see this, I left the brown tape onto this. I don't have one handy to show you the brown stuff that comes on, the sticky stuff, and I just have a difficult time cleaning it off. I've tried goof off, soap, everything, and I just can't get it. Here's another one with 3 different things. You probably can't see it very well. A snowman, some numbers and stuff, and this one here seemed to be the best. And it showed up the best on the light, and I was tickled with it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to do it with you and show you how I did it and how I'm doing and all my settings. So the first thing I want to show you is, I'm going to show you. So what I came up with, the best method was this. That is black, and what it is, it's a matte black. It's a peelable rubber paint. I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's a peel coat. It says peelable rubber coating, and it's actually really cool. So, and I just got this at my local hardware store. It actually is really neat. You can actually take this corner and kind of peel it up. It's kind of stretchy, which I'll show you when we get done. But what I did was I took the glass, I took the coating off. And it's important you take both sides off because it will burn through this, and you don't want to burn the other side and then make a mark on the back side of it. So take both sides off and then spray it really good with that, and then let it dry, and then this is what you get. So I'm going to put this here, and that's what we're going to burn on today, and we are going to do that. So what I want to do is, another thing is, a lot of you might already know this, but I burned this. It says Dustin, and it's a fire truck. And I know it's really bright in here. I have some big bright lights in here. Problem is I burnt it on here, facing this way, but turns out it's supposed to be reversed, and I don't know why it just went out of my head. It's supposed to be on the back side. When you look at it from the back through, it looks amazing. So it's backwards. So we have to invert the image because that's what we're going to burn on top. So first, I'm going to start with, as I always do, I measure my working area of what I want to do. And I already measured this. This is 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches working area that I'm going to be working in. And I always do that with every project. Yep, 4.5 inches. So knowing that, I'm going to create a workable area for me to work in. So I'm going to go up here to create a rectangle, and then I'm just going to create it. I don't want it to fill. I want just line. I'm going to unlock it and choose 4.5 by 4.5. And then I'm going to click the arrow, and I'm going to go arrange, move selected objects to the lower left. So it puts it down here. And then I'm going to take my fire truck, which is SVG5. Let me pull it over here, and I'm going to drag my truck in. Now that my truck's here, I'm going to move it to a second layer. So as you can see, my first one here is just called border. It's layer 0, and I'm going to go down the bottom here and click O1. And so I'm going to double click on O1, reset the default, and I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. I actually want it on just fill. So this is my truck, and I have it on fill, and my working area is 4.5, so I'm going to want to make this the largest area here. I'm going to go like 4.4, I guess. No, let me click away from that. Let me undo that. So click on it. Make sure that you lock it so that it stays uniform. Say left and right, up and down, X and Y. So when you change one, it stays with the other. So the largest, I'm going to go 4.5, and now it will readjust the height. So I'm actually going to do 4.4, just so it's a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to click away from it, and then I'm going to click it, make sure it's selected. Then I'm going to hold the Shift key and select the box. It's important that you select the box second, or last, whatever. And then come up, Arrange, Align, Centers. And it's going to put the fire truck dead center of my square box. Click away from it, and then come up top here to Zoom to Frame Selection. So now it puts me here. Now you see my 4.5 inch working area, so I'm definitely within that. It's centered in and looks really good. Now I have done this with another one, and so I'm going to just tell you my speeds and feeds. Actually, let me expect, I forgot about the name. So let me make it a little bit smaller here. Let me come back up here and just shrink this down, because here I want to do the name Dustin. So I'm going to do D-U-S-T-I-N, and I want to make it stencil font. Somewhere here. Oh my gosh, I'm like going backwards here. Stencil. So if my fire truck, oh shoot, let me click away from that. So if my fire truck, I want this to be, the actual width of it to be 4.4. And then I'm going to select the box, and then do Arrange, Align, Centers, and I can actually move it down with my cursor. Oh, my bad. Everything's selected on Control Z. Let me do that again. Select here, select the box, go Arrange, Align Centers, and then click away from it. Then click the words and use my keypad to move them down. That's probably pretty good. And then I want to make my fire truck bigger, probably like that. So again, I'll click my fire truck, click the frame, and this time I'm going to click this one here, which is Align Objects of Vertical Centers, and it's going to just align that object in the center. So I'm going to click away, click the fire truck, and I'm going to, so one of the tricks is, when you move your cursor keys, if you hold the Control key, you will move only a little bit, and that actually looks pretty good, except I don't like the words Dustin being that big. So I'm gonna say, if this is 3.2, the width, I'm gonna make this 3.2, and then I'm going to move this up a tad, I think right there. I'm gonna select both of them, Arrange, I'm going to group them, and then I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, kind of like that. That's probably pretty good. So now that it's selected, I'm going to hold the Shift key, select the outer frame, and then click Centers. So now, and I actually went to Arrange, Align, Centers. So now it's pretty much center, and that looks pretty good, I must say. I think that's actually pretty good how I want to do it. I want to move this up just a tad, I think. Let me ungroup it, click away, click this, and I just want to move it up a little bit, like right there. I think is good. So now I'm going to click them both again. I'm going to Arrange, I'm going to group them. And one other thing now is, now that I have that, remember I was saying we need to invert the image because it's going to be on the back side and it needs to be reversed. So now that it's grouped, click on it, and then go up to Arrange and flip horizontal. And now you'll see it's backwards, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to go to click on it, and I'm going to double click on my layer. And I already have experimented with so many different speeds and feeds and everything. And for what I'm doing here, this is the best for me, that has worked the best. So for the paint, I used 20 speed and 85 power. And I lowered my lines per inch down to 200. I also turned on my overscanning, and I did that at 3.5%. The overscanning allows it. You pull it up in the manual. Basically, what it does is it goes just past the end of the scanned mark a little bit, so that it gives it time to come back, so it doesn't stop right on the end. Which sometimes you may notice that your ends get burnt a lot and the inside's not. It's because the laser stops right there and never turns off, and then goes and then comes. So it's almost like a double burn every time. So 20 speed, 85 power. Don't forget I'm in inches a minute. I'm not in millimeters a minute. If you click OK and then you go up to edit settings and change it to millimeters a minute, click OK, double click, so you can see now. I'll leave it up for a second. You can see my settings: speed 508, still power 85, and the lines per inch. I don't need the air assist on, not that it really matters, but anyway, I'm going to change that back to inches. So basically, that's what we got. That's the size, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty much ready to burn. So I'm going to switch your camera over to the spot. And let me change this here. Whoops. It's probably not better. Hold on here. That's fine. So I'm going to make it bigger here for you. So basically, again, what I'm doing is I'm going to just set this here where I know it's going to be just square on my board. Pull this over and turn the machine on. By the way, this is going to smell, so make sure you have good ventilation, especially when you're burning paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I do every time I comes on. I right-click devices, it disconnects, reconnects. I go to move, set origin, get position, pull to 0 so I know I'm right where everything is. I click fire and I make sure that the laser is on, which you should see it on the board. And come back to here, and basically I'm going to click this box and I'm going to go arrange, move laser to the left lower selection. So it right now thinks it's at the bottom left of my 4.5 inch square. So I'm going to turn the fire button on and I'm going to move it up. If you can see it, not sure how. I'm going to zoom in here for you a little bit so you can see I'm right there, kind of where I need to be at. And then I'm going to turn the fire off, and actually what I'm going to do is come up to my border. I'm going to change it to speed is 110 and power is 1. Not sure that'll be enough, but and make sure it's online. Click OK. Turn this output off and turn this output on, and then click start. As you can see, it's going to run right up along the edge. That's the frame, and to me, it looks like it's a little further over. So I'm going to go back to origin. I'm going to move, turn the fire on. I think it's a little bit. So if you're not sure, if you want to see the dot right there, right? So what I do is I turn the dot on, the laser, and I go to arrange, move laser to the laser to the right of the selection. So now that it's moving, I can kind of see, is it more gap here, is it more gap here? Right now it looks pretty good, actually. I'm going to move it back. And now it's going to move back, and I'm actually going to, my left and right is good. My x-axis is really good. So now I'm going to go arrange, move laser to the top. And I can kind of compare the gap that was here to the gap that was here. And I actually think I want to move it up a tad. So I just grab the wheel a little bit. If you can't see me a little bit over here, I grab the wheel here, but it's on the side here, and just kind of move up a little bit. And then go to arrange, move laser to the lower part, and it looks good. So what I'm going to do is turn the turn the laser off, go to cuts, and tell it to run one more time. Watch the laser as it's going right around here. It looks pretty darn good. So my frame looks perfect of where it's going to go. One thing I want to show you, if you notice where my laser goes when it's done, when it actually starts here, but it goes up here. One thing I like to do is if I go to origin, that puts it back here. When it's done, I like for my laser to be out of the way. So what I do is I go, let me make this smaller so you can see. I go up here to move. My distance, 2 inches is fine. And I tell it to go up. Again. I'm going to go one more. And doesn't matter if I go over. And then once I'm there, I go here and click Set Finish Position. So I click that. Now that when it's done burning, that's where it's going to go. And if you'll see, I'm going to tell it to go to origin. I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell it to run a square again. And watch where it goes when it's done. And I like that because it gets out of my way and I can actually see the product that's done. And then I won't actually bump it. I actually probably would like it up a little further, you know what I mean? But actually, so I won't bump it, it gets out of the way. So, with that being said, I'm going to go back to origin. I'm going to turn off the border and turn on the cut. I'm going to just double check everything. I'm just going to call it truck, it's fine. 2085, it's on fill. I never do fill end line, just fill. Especially since you're doing the overscanning, you don't need the line on the outside and on plastic. And then the line sprint 200, which would like the DPI. And then click OK. And I think we are ready to burn. So I am going to make sure that move this out of the way. Whoops. Make sure that your start from user origin is where it's going to start from because that's exactly where I have the laser. And make sure your job origin at the bottom left. And that's it. You're ready to go. So I am going to go ahead and start this and watch your eyes. It says it's going to be out of bounds, but it's really not because it thinks you're here, but you're actually here. So you could just click yes to ignore it. And then as you can see, she's starting to burn. And I'm gonna, what you could do also is, if you look at my screen, if you right click and you go to preview, down here, 1 hour and 30 minutes, that kind of gives you an idea of how long it's going to take to burn. So about 1 hour and 30 minutes, and I'm going to pause my video until it's done, and then we're going to finish this puppy up. Okay, so we are back a couple hours later, and as you can see, I didn't touch anything. That's exactly what I have. That's how it burnt. And it looks pretty good. So I am going to turn this off. Turn my laser off. And as you can see how it burnt. And the reason why I said to take off the back side was because as you can see it burnt through. And if you'd had that back layer on there, it would have probably made marks on the other side. So let's take over here, and I want to show you. I'm going to change my camera. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is not change my camera. So this stuff is actually really cool. I'm going to try and stay in the video here. So what I like to do is just start with a little bit of peel with this rubber paint. Try and get the edge. You got to really be careful with this little picky thing. You don't want to scratch up your final product here. You start here. I'm going to pause this in a minute. I don't want to bore you with my 20-minute long paint peeler. But as you can see, trying to get this. Believe me, when you grab an end of it, it should come right off. It's a lot easier than that. as you can see, the paint it's rubberized. So basically, here we go. What I'm going to do is peel all of this off, and as you can see, it's coming off really well. And then I'm going to use my little picker here, and I'm going to just pick off these pieces lightly so I don't scratch any of the rubberized thing. And then when I get this all off, I'm going to come back and unpause the video for you. There we go. So that's what I'm going to do, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have picked all of the black off, and depending on what you're trying to cut to be, let me actually change cameras to be how detailed it is. Sorry, wrong one. As you may or may not be able to see, I picked all the black off, and all I did was wipe it down with Windex. Let me see if you can see it any better if I. Not really, because it's clear. But I did not have to use any type of cleaning solvent or anything. All I did was use Windex on it. So it came out, I think, absolutely incredible. I wish you could see it better, the detail that it did, and I think that's part of the DPI that it chose. So I'm going to put it back, I'm going to put it in my base, and I'm going to turn my light off so you can see what it will look like. I don't know where my remote went for it, but anyway. Let me turn this off. Let's see if you can see it. I'm actually going to change cameras so you can see it over there. So there you can actually see the final work. That's green. Unfortunately, you can't see it that well. So that's red. And, I'm sorry, it's purple. I just want to show you that this is the opposite side that was burnt. This is the side that was burnt. So as you can see, it's not as bright. This is the side that we actually burned on right here. That's why we did it backwards. It's not as bright as the actual, looking at the back of it. And it's just so much better. And that's the finished product. I absolutely love it. I think it came out perfect. As you can see, the line detail, that rubberized paint, I almost did no cleaning whatsoever, just Windex, and I probably could use a little bit more Windex, but other than clean it off. And just want to share with you, if you want to look at my screen again before I go, my burn settings are here. This is, I use inches, 20 and 85. And I think the lines per inch is key. When I first tried my first ones, I was doing a 160 lines per inch, and I think it was too far apart. I think it wasn't giving me the detail that I wanted. And then I cut another one at a slower speed, which is like 115, and honestly, it actually heated so much that it actually warped my, let me change it back here. It actually warped the plastic, and you probably can't see it from here. Oh, actually you can see it. If you look at it, see how it's warped? It actually warped it at 15, and I have a 15 watt laser, but at 15 speed and 85 power, it actually warped my the board, and it's brown, as you can see. And as you can see, this one, turn it off, it's like beautiful. It's like perfect. No cleaning, nothing whatsoever. So I hope that helped everyone. Of course, everybody has something different, and I really hope that you guys can go ahead and burn some acrylic now. If you want, I'll put in my description line just the exact ones that I bought from Amazon. But the bases are pretty cool. They're interchangeable. They just come right off, and you can actually put on these, which I'm going to make some Christmas ones. I have a snowman that I want to reburn again, but and that's pretty much it. I hope that helped everybody, and have a wonderful day.